McMahon, Bomberto, Ferman all know the taste of silver. They'll be looking for a different flavour.
Yeah, she was just 19, Ferman, when she took silver 4 years ago, along with the other girls that you mentioned. And Australia here, Medhurst, she's shooting at 97%. Can she get Australia off to the perfect start with the first centre?
Chris Campbell, that end of court, will run bottom of screen to your right. Top of screen is Gary Burgess. Monia Gerard, I really believe, John, has a chance to make her name as one of the all-time greats. She's had a wonderful event so far. They need her to put one-on-one pressure on Tutayer, separate her from the dart. She needs to come up with turnover ball. Big game for the Australian goal defence. Her first Commonwealth Games gold medal contest. What a start.
Yeah, Ferman picks up the intercept from the George pass that didn't find its mark in Van Dyke, and Australia a chance to make it 2 in a row, and of course they have the next centre.
And I'm loving the start already. We saw hesitation in the semi-final. We saw a little bit of a balk in the forward line. There's speed, there's desire, there's the adventure to attack in the forward line. They need that for this match.
Norma Plummer looking on as Sherelle McMahon. When we spoke to McMahon yesterday, you've already alluded to the tough matches today, rather, when we spoke to her, you already alluded to the tough matches that they've come through. McMahon thought that put them in good stead. She was really happy that they've had to struggle, really happy they had to work. A rare mistake from Gerard, though, turns it over. George back now. Van Dyke well out of the circle.
Here's the build-up from the Silver Ferns. The Goja girl is Van Dyke. They find it, but Ferman, brilliant over the shot. That was a wonderful lean. That's key to this game. Her ability to adapt to the whistle, to allow herself to be good distance and attack the shot. She's no use to Australia out of play.
And when Annie talks about good distance, she's talking about the fact that, of course, you need to stay 90 centimetres away from the landed foot. For those of you watching netball for perhaps the first time, that call going against McMahon, it was a 50-50 call. Could have gone either way, I thought. Grant
was all over her. She was trying to free her arms and free some space. It's read the other way by Chris Campbell.
So the good work from Ferman with that intercept. Now Tutayer with a chance to open the scoring for the Silver Ferns. Tutayer, by the way, shooting at 80%. The Australian line 97 at 86, but Irene Van Dyke at 94%. But Tutayer, her first two, finds goal. Gerard.
Matt Medhurst playing just under the radar, very deceptive, very slight in build, but her timing's been outstanding. She needs to really keep the workload high and really work on possession, because there's flawless, almost flawless, the shooting, but it's amount of ball that's important.
There's Nurse, that great last quarter against England, got her into the starting line here. Medhurst and Nurse again, trying to work the ball to McMahon.
Well, McMahon's under enormous pressure. We spoke of the psychology for Australia. I thought they looked tentative in the semi-final. I think it was about them thinking about gold medal outcome and getting to that match rather than the process of the semi-final. Nothing to lose here. It's just attack execution.
Langman, Tutayer, Van Dyke at the moment being monstered by Ferman.
So there's a message to Susan Ferman. That was a holding call, use of the arm. So she needs to be absolutely technically perfect.
And a little bit of contact as they contested that rebound. So Van Dyke to open her scoring in this match.
Tutayer screening Monia Gerard out of defence of that penalty. Patience is one thing. Hesitation and fear another. As Australia really worked that ball carefully, well crafted to the post, and the lovely pop-out move. It goes against McMahon, though, the contact. Frustration on the Australian captain's face. She needs to be able to clear body and read Chris Campbell.
And the hockey players sitting behind us didn't like that call. They're amongst a range of Australian colleagues that have come out here to support their netball teammates.
And these are the things that can dictate the outcome of this match, as Tutayer takes New Zealand to the front by one. Chris Campbell's whistle and how he deems the contact and which part of the contest he sees really important for the Australian forward line to sort out early.
And you mentioned that you had a call from someone inside the camp that Ferman wasn't 100%. So we'll just watch how she approaches this contest. Youngster against veteran.
Ferman, just her 22nd outing for Australia. Van Dyke 187 internationals. Out of court call against Van Dijk. Irrespective, Ferman had inside position and possession.
Gerard gives us some help as they try and work it through now to the centre third.
Good pressure through the mid-court from the Silver Ferns. Australia just a little early on the timing. Need to keep re-offering as, again, McMahon's taken out of the game by good close marking from Grant.
Medhurst, though, wonderful goal. It was a good feed from Nurse as well. And we're tied up. So back on in terms of where we started with Australia, the first centre, back on track. Goal-for-goal game at the moment.
First call that's gone McMahon's way. That keeps Grant out of play. She's contesting the rebound. I thought she was from out of court. That's not called by Campbell, but the Silver Ferns keeper will be put out, and it's almost an instant replay as McMahon tries to shake Grant off the out-of-play position and withhold Williams' contest from the back.
You can't tell whether she's out of court there. The line was just down the bottom of the screen, so who knows?
Would you forgive me if I said who cares?
Well, judging on how nervous you've been waiting for this game, Annie.
Oh, you telltale. Gerard working around, trying to disguise the offload.
I think when you captain Australia, as long as you did, you're entitled to be uptight and nervous before a match of this contest. And there's that wonderful smile we've seen it so often from Van Dijk.
Forget me, there's a tradition of Australian netballers who've proudly worn green and gold, who would all be heavily invested in this game. These girls represent a great tradition of winning for Australian netball, and many coaches before Norma Plummer also invested. So our thoughts and thanks go to those players and coaches.
And Norma, of course, herself a captain in the 70s of the Diamonds. George needs someone. In close to 3 seconds there, Langman back to George. Toutaye's going to split and give her an opportunity. But at the moment, Ferman doing a good job on Van Dijk. There's no chance of the long ball. The
pressure needs to be applied outside the circle from Australia to allow Ferman a one-on-one contest with Van Dijk. Smart play, Toutaye. The Australian defenders get tangled on the switch.
Great crowd in too.
Good support play from the Diamonds. Over the top, they floated to Nurse, who's been using that space nicely, and that's a brave ball. I love the split from that Medhurst.
Well, compare that to what we saw from Jamaica a little earlier, and Medhurst is only 5'9". She doesn't put the shot away, though.
Well, she needs to let that one go. I think we've seen 3 misses probably in total all week. That needs to be treated as just another of no consequence.
Yeah, shooting at 97%, just extraordinary.
And how amazing that in a gold medal match we've lost the scoreboard and all the reference to the stats early in the game. So we'll try and let you know the accuracy and the penalty count as we go. But the pictures on court tell the better story.
Gerard offers again. Nice ball through the centre. Von Berto.
Just confusion then from the Australian shooters on lead. And again on the second phase. We need to keep the talk up in the circle. The feeders will work it till they find them. Pressure shot from McMahon. Look at the stretch from Williams. She's unfazed, the Diamonds captain. She's a magnificent athlete. Flag bearer for the Australian team here at the opening ceremony of these Commonwealth Games would like to make it bookend netball with a gold.
So some contact on the centre and...
Little tip, though, from Gary Burgess explaining that was the first incident, even though there might have been a subsequent play. The first one's acknowledged by the umpire.
So Toutaye, she's going to go shoot of a shooter, but Ferman is going to be up to it. It's a great moment there for Australia.
Brilliant work. Worked the front of the ball so hard, but had the recovery. We've seen a massive improvement from Susan Ferman, and Perth fans applaud your homegrown girl.
Unlucky Medhurst and Von Berto just to break down the communications, but Ferman terrific on screen there, and of course Norma Plummer choosing horses for courses decision here with Ferman v Van Dijk as opposed to Geitz, who started many of these matches.
Fast break play from New Zealand. They misread the timing. There's pressure on court for these magnificent athletes, all 14. Nurse, who didn't miss a beat when she came on at three-quarter time for Australia. It was a brilliant transition. She was brought onto open space. Green had to withhold all the tough front position when there was no room. Nurse opened it. It's, though, the ability to play the feed without error that's important.
Oh, a footwork call against Medhurst.
And that's not the first time we've seen the speed of the Australian feet be too much for the international whistle. New Zealand held up. Has to be a patient build-up. They're not having the float of Van Dijk they'd like. So well done, Von Berto, Hallinan, Gerard. Gerard has stood out. Ferman will need to free herself as Anna Scarlett watches on anxiously from the side. She's an option in defence for the Silver Ferns.
Von Berto now.
Monia Gerard just supportive in back play.
All tied up. Medhurst driving through, but Grant and Williams doing a great job down this end. Can Medhurst put this one away? Oh, another one pops out. So a couple from Medhurst. She'd only missed a couple of shots all week going into this game.
Huge test for her for that to be happening early in the match, to miss the two shots when she's been flawless. She really needs to know not to think about it, not to overthink it, just let it come out of the hand. Brilliant recovery from Hallinan. Hallinan and Gerard have done that time and time again when Australia's been in bother, and they do it again, gold medal match. That one doesn't drop for Medhurst. That will be 3. Nicole Cusack, the specialist coach in shooting for Australia, not here with the team, but Sue Kenny with a wealth of experience in that department and across at wing attack will no doubt have quiet words of reassurance at the break.
Williams to George, now to Langman. Floats one across, and well done, Van Dijk. Just got front position against Ferman. So now New Zealand have hit the front, and it is their centre. Oh, Ferman with the intercept. Needed that. It was a ball pass, though. Hallinan, Grant coming quickly.
Oh, line call, that one. That was quite magnificent from Casey Williams, but it goes off the sideline, and the call is a sideline call. Nothing comes from Chris Campbell on court with respect to possession or contact. New Zealand showing in the last couple of plays for Australia how intimidating they are on rebound balls should the Australian shooters miss. That's a definite short call from Williams over the ball. McMahon looking for the settler.
Yeah, the point should make, New Zealand are averaging 12.7 rebounds a game, and that has them number 1 in the tournament. Australia at 5.5, number 8.
Just should point out that the score tech on screen now has been rectified. It was very slow to acknowledge Australia's 8th goal. They're running neck and neck. But just over 2 minutes left in this first quarter.
But Australia unusually shooting at 67%. Needs this one to go in cleanly, Medhurst. There's some early nerves from both teams. Good ball from George. Spots to Taillere.
Was a good early ball, but Irene Van Dijk unaware that she stepped out of court on the drive. It's a throw into Australia. Ferman, smart and quick to take it, catches New Zealand.
Nurse is available. Medhurst drives.
Well, read well by Nat Von Berto, who'd offered a nice little pop back to the ball, saw the space behind the Silver Fern defence. That will feel good for McMahon, who's shooting Australia out of trouble.
Out by 2 with their centre, a chance for the biggest lead of the first quarter here for Australia as they have possession.
Passes outside the circle.
So Nurse looking for Von Berto, bit of obstruction against Henry.
Beautiful pop-out move under the post. It's missed by Nurse, the Australian Diamonds captain, under the post, perhaps half a metre away and unseen.
And instead tried the risky pass across the side, and the Silver Ferns will come away with possession inside the last minute now of the first quarter. Williams over the top to Langman under a lot of pressure. Ferman can't quite get the big reach out. It was a beautiful pass. Van Dijk right under goal. Marvellous ball.
Great stretch by Furman. The timing just a little premature as you see her go up and miss the reach. A little bit of space between her and Van Dijk, but all in all, the Australian defence have been in brilliant form and provided Australia with plenty